Namaste, everyone. My name is Russ Thompson. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Chair Yoga class. For today's class, you'll need I recommend having 2 blocks and a yoga strap handy for today's practice. If you don't have 2 blocks, feel free to use packaging boxes, books, or anything of that nature. And if you don't have a yoga strap, feel free to grab an old belt, a long hand towel, or a resistance band. So any of those items will be great. So thank you so much again for joining me. Again, yoga is for everybody. Doesn't matter who you are or what you are. The practice is great for not just for your body, but your mind and spirit as well. So again, yoga has so many great benefits, reducing stress, getting better balance in so many ways, building strength, and so much more. So thank you again for this. For those of you who would like a more intense practice, a lot of these poses you can actually do with a mat. So if you'd like to join me on using a mat instead of a chair, you can do that. And the chair, regardless if you're an intermediate or advanced practitioner, the chair is really good to focus a lot on your overall posture, form, and we can always go back to the basics, because essentially we are all beginners. Doesn't matter how long you've been practicing for, because it literally is called a yoga practice, not a yoga perfect. So again, we can always, it's good for all practitioner levels. So regardless of whether you're sitting in a chair like I am, or you're sitting on a mat at home, or however you may be seated, we'll all find a nice comfortable seated position. So if you're in a chair, perhaps you can sit up like this. So if you're at home on a mat, if you want to sit in easy seated pose like Sukhasana or Virasana hero pose, that's fine too. But before we close the eyes, just kind of see how you feel on your seat. So your sit bones, which are those bony things on your bottom, you want to make sure that you're on a nice even seat. So you shouldn't feel like you're slanting one way or the other. You should feel nice and tall. And then once you're even on your seat, feel to draw the navel towards your low back, okay? So that's activating our core. So our core is our abdominals, obliques, and low back. So anytime we hold a lot of these poses, really engage the core for better low back support, but also good strength, because it's good for your overall strength, because you'll send energy throughout the body to help keep you more stable. And then maybe just relax the shoulders away from the ears, lengthen up to the crown of the head. And if you are on a mat, if you want to sit on one of your blocks, that's fine. Just kind of give a little tension, little less tension off the low back. That's great. And just kind of find a sense of stillness. Good, and we'll just, wherever you are with the breath, side out, H-ah sound. Good, and try to, on every inhalation, every exhalation, try to count to 4. So on your inhale, feel the breath expand across the chest for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then count to 4 in your head as you exhale, let it all go once more. Good. And from here, we're going to move into what we call our Ujjayi breath. So Ujjayi breath is Sanskrit for fire breathing breath. I like to call it Darth Vader breathing. So basically the only difference with that is keeping the lips sealed and sending your breath straight down towards your pelvis on your exhale, not allowing the breath to puff out. So if you have a breathing issue, if you need to breathe out of the mouth, that's fine. Maybe even make a little bit of a peephole for the lips if need be. So, and again, the reason why we keep the lips sealed on our exhales is just so we can create more heat in our system to allow us to expand in our poses. And it also helps with our overall heart rate too. So it helps us keep us more calm and centered. So again, wherever you are, let's just sigh the breath out once more. Good, and on your inhale, feel the breath expand across the chest. Through the nose, exhale. Keep that same rhythm of breath going. And as you continue to breathe like so, again, the yoga isn't just about holding poses. Again, it's allowing yourself to be becoming more open to new ideas, becoming more humble, finding patience, and sending positive light and energy out, not only to yourself, but mainly to those around you, or those who are close to you. Because you want, ideally, you want to put your others before yourself. We call that being a spiritual warrior. So being strong and willing enough to be helpful to others, whether it's a family member, friend, neighbor, co-worker, first responder. So maybe if you would like to send positive intention for any of those people in your life, or even if you don't know them, maybe just out for a general good intention for someone. That's great. You don't have to, but it's awesome if you do. A couple more rounds of breath on your own. Good. Sigh the breath out. H-A, let it all out. Good. Deep breath, inhale. Let it go. Exhale. Good. Blink the eyes open. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do, let's grab onto our strap. I'm going to take the strap about shoulder distance apart. So from here, relax the shoulders away from your ears and reach through your knuckles. So imagine like you're kind of holding a warrior pose almost. And I want you to do is I want you to pull, try to see if you can pull the strap as hard as you can, like you're trying to rip it in half. Good. Keep that same tension pulling the strap apart, and on your next inhale, take the strap up and overhead. Your hands may splay out a little bit further apart, which is fine. You can relax the shoulders, reach through the knuckles though. So imagine like you're holding Warrior One or Crescent Lunge, and just pull the strap apart. See if you can do it. Again, it'll warm up the shoulders real nice. Maybe even draw the shoulder blades together if it's accessible for you. Deep breath, inhale. And exhale slowly. Bring the strap down to chest height. And release the strap. Okay. From here, let's just do a couple of arm circles. So take the palms, so extend the shoulders, line up with wrists. And again, knees over ankles if you're seated. And when in doubt when holding any of these poses, do your best to line, and when in doubt, line up with joint, lines up with joint. So in this instance, shoulders line up with wrists. Okay, so when in doubt, joint lines on top of joint. So a few arm circles. So palms face down, thumbs moving forward. And we go a little bit bigger. And all the way through. Good. Palms up, bring it back, reverse. And go a little bit bigger. And all the way through. Good. So from here, we're just going to give our legs just a little bit of a quick stretch too. So extend the right leg out. And then try to melt the chest. Keep your equal weight in your sit bones on your seat or your mat. And then lengthen the chest out and fold. Doesn't matter how far the hands go. If they can touch the toes, great. But if they can only reach the shin or the ankle, that's fine. Don't forget to breathe. Use the breath to go deeper in the poses, or send the breath to the area as well where you're feeling that stretch. And bring the body back up to neutral. Do the same thing, switching sides. Good, inhale as you bring the body back up. And give yourself a shake. All right. So from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move into our cat-cow series. So for those of you who are on your mats, please make your way at the tabletop. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Begin to arc your back and arch your spine back and forth of the vertebrae. For those of you who are seated in a chair like this, we'll do the seated version of that. So again, take the arms out wide, but this time take the palms to face forward. Now you draw the navel to your low back. On your next inhale, and take a little bit of a back bend. And again, see if you can draw your shoulder blades, which are those big bony things in your upper back, together on your back bend. That's awesome. And on your exhale, curl, tucking around, palms will come together nice and smooth. Good, inhale, invite the back bend, bring it through for cow. Then exhale, tucking around, nice and smooth for cat. And just take a few more rounds, just like this on your own. Doesn't matter how fast or slow you're moving. Good, maybe even if you're seated, maybe if you want to take your arms diagonal, or maybe even take the arms up to field goal posts. That's fine too, just a couple more. Good, and gently come back to neutral. And sigh the breath out, A-Shaw sound, let go. Deep breath, inhale. Exhale, let it out. And for those of you who are on hands and knees, tabletop, please transfer to downward facing dog. For those of you who are using your chair, please come up to stand. And then I'm just turning my chair for the side so you get a little bit of a better angle. But what you're gonna do is from here, be about a foot distance away from where you are, from the lip of your chair, and then where you're at. And we'll just take a nice forward fold and then make our way to down dog. So inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, grab onto the sides of the chair. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulder blades back, neck long. And then the right foot will go back, and then eventually the left foot will meet the right. So ideally with the chair, we use the chair, you want your hips to line up over your knees and your ankles. You're grabbing onto the chair, both ends of the chair. Wrap your triceps in. Your triceps are this back part of your arm muscles. Wrap them in, and then that shift the weight back. Now, if you have any low back issues or hip issues, if you want to take or tight hamstrings, regardless if you're using the chair or not, maybe take your feet hip distance apart. Maybe if you're using a mat, take a mat distance apart. And again, for everyone, maybe you can give yourself your head a shake yes or no. Maybe lift one heel off the floor at a time. And don't forget to breathe. Good. So from here, if you need to take an extra rest or child's pose now or at any point during the practice, that's today, that's completely fine. So again, just because I don't cue it doesn't mean you don't have to take one. It doesn't mean not to take one if you don't want to, but you can at any time. So anyway, safety first. If you want to stay here in down dog to get a drink, you can. Otherwise, if you want a little bit more intensity, we're going to move into plank. So take your feet about back to hip distance apart if you did take them wider. Draw the navel into your low back. On your next inhale, shift the body into plank position. And then exhale, shift back, downward facing dog. We'll do that again here. So inhale, shift forward into plank. Exhale, kick back to downward dog. And here we go, another one here. So inhale, shift to plank. And this time you can either shift to down dog, stay in plank, or we're going to do a few toe taps here. So what's going to happen is draw the navel in, and then allow the left leg to go out, and then touch back to neutral. Left leg out, touch back to neutral. So we're going to do that a round of 5 times. So here we go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right leg, same thing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shift back, downward dog. Good. Sigh the breath out wherever you are. Good. Bend the knees, inhale. Then exhale, walk, step, hop to the front of your mat, staying low in Uttanasana, standing forward fold. So maybe it might feel nice to grab onto opposite elbows, maybe wrap the arms around the legs, sway a little bit from side to side. And from here, take your hands to hips. You're going to come up one vertebrae at a time, allowing the crown of the head to be the last thing that moves up towards the ceiling. All right. So from here, we're going to move into just a couple different. We're going to do a big shoulder opener here. So I want you guys to, just for the camera's sake, I want you to pretend. I repeat, this open space here is an actual wall. I want you just to pretend this open space right here is an actual wall. So where you're at home, please go to an actual real wall. Again, I'm just showing this, again, pretend this is a wall, but I'm just showing you this so you can actually see better, because this way if I go over to the wall over here, you may not be able to see what I'm doing with my hands. So what I want you to do is kind of go to a wall nearby and be a full arm's distance away from where you and your chair, from where you and your body are. So your arms should be pretty dang straight. So you almost want to keep your elbow what we call a micro bend. So what a micro bend means is that you are, that means is it looks like it's straight, but your joint is slightly bent, like a centimeter worth, okay? So what I want you to do is you're going to find Tadasana, which that's Sanskrit for mountain pose. So keep equal weight in both feet. Okay, and then draw the navel in, and then what I want you to do is place your hand on the wall, like so. And then with your pinky finger leading the way, not your thumb, so you're not turning with a thumb leading, you're turning with a pinky finger leading away, okay? So you're going to push through, and then you're going to turn your palm, maybe it goes only a quarter of the way, half the way, but ideally, your fingers should point towards the floor. But if it's not, please don't force anything. If they can only come here or here, that's fine. If you have a wrist issue, you can do the same thing where you can put knuckles against the wall, and then your your pinky side still will lead the way. So you're going to kind of go through, and then once you've reached your maximum range of motion, draw your shoulder blades together and draw the navel in. So we worked with the shoulder blades earlier, same thing, okay? And try to make sure your shoulder lines up with wrist. And hold for 3, hold for 2, and so the hand back to neutral, so your fingers will come back up to the top, and then release the hand, and we're going to do the same thing, switch sides. So again, this is an imaginary wall right here where my left hand is going, but you actually place your hand in an actual wall. Again, doing this is for side view. So again, the left hand's going to go to the wall, or if you have a wrist issue, knuckles to the wall. And again, pinky finger leads the way. So you're leading with the pinky, not the thumb, pinky-wise. So you're going to go and turn when you're ready. Again, shoulders, hips line over ankles, navel low back, shoulder, don't go to the shoulder blades yet. Turn to either your quarter, half, or full motion. Then draw the shoulder blades in. And if you have a little bit of micro bend in the elbow, that's great. Keep those joints nice and fluid. Good. On your inhale, swivel the hand back to neutral and gently lower down. All right. One more thing before we move on to our half sun salutations, just kind of give our neck a nice little stretch here. So allowing the left arm to shoot down at diagonal. So you're relaxing that left shoulder down and away from you and reaching through the fingertips. So kind of the reaching down this way kind of keeps you in a nice little bit of an anchored position. And the right hand's gonna go up and overhead to your left ear. So keeping that Tadasana, that shape in your feet, so equal weight in both feet. And then lengthen up to the crown of the head on your inhale, get the spine nice and lengthened. On your exhale, keeping the gaze forward, right ear to right shoulder. So you should feel a nice stretch going down the left side of your neck. Don't force anything. Everything nice and smooth. Then inhale, bring the gaze back to neutral. Exhale, release the bind. Same thing, switch sides. The left hand touches the right ear, reaching down away from, so right shoulder comes down, reaching to the right fingertips. Inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, dip, and nice and smooth down. Again, you should feel a nice stretch down the right side of your neck this time, maybe even down the right shoulder. Good. Inhale, head to neutral. Exhale, come down, nice and smooth. And then find true Tadasana pose, mountain pose. And just maybe close the eyes for a moment. Check in with your breath, or maybe even if you did make an intention for today's practice, just check in with that. Good. Sigh the breath out, H-ah sound. Good. Deep breath, inhale. Sigh it out, let go. And blink the eyes open. Okay, a couple half sun salutations and we'll add on. So on your next inhale, take the arms up and overhead. Exhale and fold forward. If you have open hamstrings and want to touch the floor, great. If not, grab onto both ends of the chair. Maybe even bend the knees if you like. Inhale, Ardha means half. Halfway lift, shoulder blades back, neck long. Fold forward as you exhale. Press up with your eyes, coming all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart. Good, 2 more times. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, lengthen out and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Fold forward, exhale. Press up, come up to rise, nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, last one, here we go. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, lengthen out and fold forward. Inhale, Ardha, halfway lift. Fold forward, exhale. Come up to rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. All right, adding a little bit more. Here we go. Inhale, lift up. Fold forward, exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. And then this way, if you're on your mats, make your way into plank position. And then lower hands to knees and lower all the way down to the floor on the mat with your exhale. For those of you who are using the chair, just take your hands to hips to stand for a moment. For those of you who are on your stomachs on your mats, you're going to move into what we call Shalabhasana, locust pose. So for those of you who are comfortable in doing that, any variation is fine. For those of you who are standing like this, we're going to just do the standing arm variation. And if you have tight shoulders and you can't interlace your hands, keep your strap handy. So what I mean is you're going to interlace the hands and send the hands down to a diagonal. So drawing the shoulder blades down and sending them down to a diagonal. If that's too intense for you, grab onto your strap. Again, shoulder distance apart is fine. Draw your shoulder blades together and send the energy down to a diagonal. Good. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. And gently undo the bind. For those of you who are on your mats, your choice, press your way up to tabletop, then shift back to downward facing dog, or energize your legs and core, press your way up to plank, and then go to down dog. For those of you who are standing like I am, we're going to just take a nice Surya Namaskar A here. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, and exhale, make your way to either downward facing dog, or your choice, you don't have to do this, but make your way into plank. Pause, lower the height of the elbows. We're taking what we call a vinyasa or a chaturanga. And then up dog on your inhale, melt the chest through the upper arms. And then exhale, shift back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees on your next inhale. Exhale, walk, step hop to the front of your chair or mat, staying low. Inhale, halfway lift. Fold forward, exhale. Press up to rise, coming all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. And for those of you who are using a chair at any time, if you do feel like you do need to use a chair for balance or modify, again, please feel free to do so, okay? So again, the chairs are there for support, but if you really need it and need to hang on to it longer, or if you need to modify by sitting in it, totally fine. Adding more movement now. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, and fold forward. Inhale, arm to halfway lift. And on your exhale, the right leg's going to shoot back. The right leg's going to stay forward. Left leg shoots back. Now, for those of you who are on your mats, feel free to drop the back knee down to the floor. For those of you who are on the chair, you're going to come up, take your arms to a field goal pose. So elbows line up with shoulders, okay? And then draw the navel in. Regardless if you have your knee down or not, we're going to just kind of do like a little bit of a yoga dance and with a back bend into it. So keeping the front knee bent. But what I want you to do before we do that is take your right thumb to right hip crease and gently draw that hip back. Take the arms back, and on your engage your core. And on your inhale, invite a little bit of a back bend. And then exhale, kind of make your way to a flat back. So your fingers are pointing out in front of you. So you're kind of making a flat, like tabletop position. A couple more times. Inhale, invite the back bend. Fold through, exhale. One more time. Inhale, invite the back bend. And then exhale, hands down. Your choice, go straight to downward facing dog or take a vinyasa. And vinyasa essentially means bring everything together. Good. Sigh the breath out wherever you're at. The right leg was going to lift and then come through. Staying in that lunge for a moment. On your next inhale, take the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands down. Back foot meets the front foot. Inhale, a halfway lift. Fold forward, exhale. Come up to rise all the way up, nice and smooth. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, here we go, second side. Here we go, inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arm and halfway lift. Exhale, left leg remains forward, right leg goes back, kind of getting that lunge. And again, if you need to drop the back knee to the floor, if you're using a mat, highly recommend doing that. If you're comfortable and able to do it like I am here with the chair too, that's fine. Okay, and then coming up, taking the arms up into field goal posts again. Sending a little, taking that left on the left hip crease, make sure the hips are square. And then around the three back bends, dancing through. So here we go. Inhale, invite the back bend. Exhale through. Inhale, invite the back bend. Exhale through. Last one, inhale, invite the back bend. Exhale, bring it down. And then your choice. Down dog or shift back into plank and take a vinyasa. Again, your choice here. Good, left leg lifts up, and then gently bring it through. One breath, one motion. We're gonna take that, so you're on the ball of the back foot. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, hands down. Back foot meets the front foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Fold forward, exhale. Come up to rise, all the way up, nice and smooth. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, get some water if you need it, or a drink, or anything like that. And if you're a step or two behind me at any point during class, no worries at all. Again, this is your practice. I'm merely your guide, all right? So remember, don't forget to smile, breathe, have fun. We're merely holding shapes. Okay. So from here, we're gonna take a flow here, and then if we are gonna eventually move into humble warrior, so I highly recommend if you do have tight shoulders, to please keep your strap handy. So if you want to drape it over your shoulder or keep it nearby where it's easy access, please do so. Okay, so from here we go. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, lengthen out and fold forward. And when we fold forward, remember, we always want to hinge from our hip points, not our waist. So not by the belly button, but we want to draw it from here. So inhale, lift the arms up if you haven't done so yet. Then fold forward nice and smooth. Inhale, Ardha, halfway lift. Then exhale, Chaturanga, or go straight to your down dog. Again, your choice. The right leg's going to lift up and then eventually come through. And then let's find our star shape to make sure that our stride point is good. So when you're ready, you're going to come up, and then the right foot's going to remain pointing forward, and then the left foot's going to kind of make like a check mark version. So essentially you're making an invisible check mark with your feet. So again, but first wrists over ankles, make sure they're relatively close up on stacking on top of each other. And the front heel should either line up with your back heel or back inner arch. As long as you're within that strike zone, it's fine. And from here, what you're going to do is we're going to move into Virabhadrasana 1 or Warrior 1 here in a moment. But again, make sure keep about 3/4 of your weight in the back leg. Try to turn your quadricep in to help anchor you. And then that front knee eventually will bend. Take the arms up. Relax your shoulders. Reach those fingers and hold. Now from here, you're going to take your right thumb to right hip crease. And if you do need to bring the front leg to straight for a moment, that's fine too. And now I want you to do is we're going to transfer to humble warrior. So for this one instance, take your right foot out about a half foot out to your right. Okay? And then you're going to interlace sending that right hip back, interlace the hands behind you, invite a little bit of back bend. And then, or again, if you can't interlace the hands, grab onto your strap. Inhale, invite the back bend, and then exhale, fold forward. Okay, and then from here, whatever pan bind you did take the hands down. Come on to the ball back foot. And we're going to move into, just to give a little bit of an easy twist here, just to kind of counteract a little bit with all the shoulder work we've been doing today. You're going to place your left hand down the bottom left corner of your chair. Or on the mat, make sure your shoulder's over wrist. We're going to do this twist, and when we twist, we want to twist it with our core, not our shoulders. So press down into the chair, the front knee still bent, and take that right arm up. If you're able to look up to the ceiling, great. If you have a neck issue, look to the side or to the floor. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Top hand down. Front foot meets the back foot. Go to straight to downward facing dog or take a flow. Left leg will lift up, inhale, and then eventually on your exhale, the left foot will come forward. Okay, we're going to set ourselves up for Warrior 1, second side. So again, Virabhadrasana 1 is Warrior 1, and we call that Warrior 1 because we're going to look like a 1 here. So again, make sure everything's nice and smooth with your form. Bend that front knee, arms up, Warrior 1. Good, and from here we're gonna, again, if you need to, bring that front leg to straight or a micro bend. Left on the left hip crease, but then eventually take your left foot a half foot out to your left. If you need a strap, grab it. If you are interlacing your hands, try to interlace them what we call the awkward way. So move your fingers down 1 notch. So if it feels weird or awkward, you're doing it right. Okay, so again, and your inhale, invite the back bend, and then exhale, fold forward. Keep sending that left hip back as you kick everything forward and through. Good. From wherever you did take your bind, release the bind. You're going to come onto the ball of the back foot. The right hand's going to come to the bottom right corner of your chair. Pressing hard through the chair. Turn and use your core as the left arm comes up again, an easy twist. Good, deep breath here. Exhale, top hand down. Your choice, vinyasa or downward facing dog. Bend the knees, inhale. And then exhale, walk step up to the front of your mat, stay low. Actually, the left foot, left stay through nice and smooth. Inhale, halfway lift. Fold forward, exhale. Hands to hips, you're gonna come up 1 vertebra at a time. And the last crane that'll come up to the ceiling is your head. All right, so if you need to get some water or have a seat real quick, feel free to do so. And as you do take a break here, I do want to kind of just as a friendly reminder about how important props can be in your practice. So don't feel like if you do ever need to use a prop to modify your practice, that you're not a strong yogi, because the strongest yogis actually, believe it or not, are humble enough and open-minded enough that they need a prop to deepen their practice, because in time, you may not necessarily even need a prop anymore. So what's cool about this, I'm going to kind of show you an example here, again, with Warrior 1, so you get a visual. I have pretty open shoulders, okay? My shoulders are pretty wide open. But I'm going to show you, even for me, how good a prop can actually feel. And this comes with blocks or anything like that, so don't feel like because everybody is different too. You know, you may have open shoulders, but not open hips, and the person next to you might have open hips, but not open shoulders. So everybody's different. So kind of watch me here. I'm just going to show you Humble Warrior again. So when you shift back and kick it up, okay, so my shoulders, again, are pretty open. But if I use a strap can actually let me even go deeper into that. So again, I'm going to take my hands shoulder distance apart here, okay? And when I kick back,
Look how further forward my arms can go with my range of motion. So even for myself or any other yoga practitioner out there, props are amazing. So they can help you go deeper into poses, and sometimes it's great. So it doesn't matter how open you may be, sometimes using a prop can actually benefit your practice as well. So again, don't ever feel if you need to use a prop for anything or modify, it does not make you any less of a yogi, it actually makes you a stronger one. So just some food for thought for you there. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to move into Garudasana, or eagle pose. So I'm going to give options. Option one is you can do this pose seated. Now the seated variation of this pose is basically you'll take the legs and you're going to crisscross them, okay? And you're going to take Garudasana arms, which is you'll take the arms out to a T shape, take the arms out wide, and then an arm is going to go underneath the other. Try to touch palm to palm, hook a thumb, or forearm, and then try and align the elbows up with shoulders. So you're dropping the shoulders, but you're reaching up through the fingers, okay? If you do have a shoulder issue though, and none of those arm patterns are going to be available to you, just make a letter X with your arms like so, okay? So just a little food for thought. And for those of you who want a more intense practice with this, what you're going to do is you'll stand. You're going to do it standing. So again, the seated version, you're going to take the legs out, and then what we're going to do is the right leg is going to remain forward. The left leg is going to come up across like so. Okay, and then eventually that left arm will come underneath. So left leg will come across, left arm comes up. For those of you who do want a little bit more intense practice, you're going to stand up, you're going to slightly bend the knees. The left leg will come across, maybe to the floor or make a full bind. Maybe that left arm goes underneath right. And you're going to hold. Draw the navel in. Good. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Gently undo the bind and give yourself a shake. All right. You're going to do the same thing second side. So again, if you're seated, this time the right leg is going to, so the legs out, the right leg will come across, okay, and then the right arm is going to go underneath left, okay, so right on top of left, right arm underneath left, okay? So for those of you who are standing, bend the knees, right leg comes across, either to the side, the floor, coming here, and then that right arm eventually will come up nice and smooth. Good, hold for 3, 2, and gently undo the bind, and give yourself a shake. All right. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of take a nice little bit of a forward fold here, and then we'll add on with our practice. So if you are seated, need some water or anything like that, please grab it. When you're comfortable and ready, please come up to stand and join me. And we're going to just take a nice flow here. So on your inhale, lift the arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Just stay here for just for an extra breath. Good, and then inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, downward facing dog, or go straight or take a vinyasa, your choice. Okay. If you are on your mat, the right leg will come up and through. And then exhale, bring it forward. We're going to find crescent lunge. Okay? For those of you who are using your chair, come on up to the front part of your chair. The right leg is gonna stay in the middle, in between the two front chair posts. The left leg comes out. Shoulders over wrists, wrists over ankles, excuse me. Right foot turns in. Come on to the ball of your back foot. We're gonna move into crescent lunge. Again, if you have a toe issue with crescent lunge, seal the foot down for warrior one. Otherwise, come on through. Send the right thumb to right hip, draw it back, and you can always modify by dropping the back knee to the floor if you're using a mat, or hanging onto the chair if you need it for balance as well. So again, this option is there. And then from here, take the arms up. Good, deep breath here. And then exhale, see the back heel down, right arm forward, left arm back. We're gonna just go right into warrior two. Right into warrior two. Look down that right arm. Good. And again, they call this Virabhadrasana 2, two arms out. Moving into reverse warrior, right palm up, inhale. Reverse warrior, exhale, nice light touch of the back hand. Inhale here. Exhale, transferring into side angle lunge. So there's options. Option one, right forearm to right thigh, left arm pops up. Maybe turn that top palm, turn it in, and then lengthen that arm out into a diagonal. You can even take the right hand to the chair. If you want to even go deeper, like I am, if you want to go deeper, you can place your right hand to the floor or a block. Your choice. Again, my personal preference, if you do take your hand to the floor, it's the outer edge of the foot, but if you need to take it in the inner, that's fine. And then try not to let the shoulder concave. You are trying to, you're not back bending either, you're just trying to find it nice and even so your chest opens up. If you did take your hand to the floor, please bring it back up to the chair if you're using it, or pressing your way back up gently to warrior two. Right palm turns up, inhale. Exhale, reverse warrior once more. Inhale here. For those of you who are using your mats, windmill the hands down, find down dog or take a flow. For those of you who are standing with the chair, come to warrior two. Bring the front leg to a micro bend, turn the feet in, walk the feet in. And then those again, of you who are using a mat, meet us on the left side when you're ready. Find crescent lunge or warrior one. And for those of you who are standing with me, left foot in between the two front chair posts, right leg will come out. Take the arms out wide like a T shape. Check your stance. Left foot turns in. Right foot comes on the ball of the back foot, or seal it down. Your choice. Arms up, crescent lunge. And again, if you need to hold on to the chair for balance, you can. If you need to drop the back knee to the floor, you can. That's fine. Good. Inhale here. Then exhale, see the back heel down, left arm forward, right arm reaches back. Warrior two. Left palm up, inhale. Moving into reverse warrior. Engage that core for your balance. Inhale here. Exhale, transfer into side angle lunge. So again, modified, just maybe taking the left foot on the left thigh or the chair with the right arm up. Maybe you turn that palm to face you and lengthen it out. Maybe that bottom hand, the left hand, goes to the block or floor. Your choice. Don't forget to breathe. If you did take your hands to the floor, please bring it up to the chair, or if you're not using a chair, you'll come up to warrior two, which we all will in time. Left palm up, inhale. Reverse warrior, exhale. Deep breath here. And then exhale, if you're on the mat, windmill the hands down to down dog, or if you're standing, bring the front leg to a micro bend with the chair, I should say. come up, bring the front leg to a micro bend. Turn your feet in. Right foot meets the left foot. Shake it out. Okay. And then you'll have a seat if you're using a chair. For those of you who are on your mats, we will also make your way from down dog, walk, step, jump through, make your way onto your seat. And for those of you who are on your mats, we're just gonna kind of counteract a little bit just for today. Take thread the needle, or if you really want a bigger hip opener, if you want to take pigeon, half pigeon, or double pigeon, that's fine. But I know predominantly we did a lot of shoulder stuff, but it's nice to kind of, again, counteract it a little bit. So that's why I'm suggesting thread the needle for today's practice. For those of you who are seated, two options for seated pigeon. You're either A, going to take the true version of this is the left knee is going to come over the left ankle, and the right leg will come up. So for those of you on your backs and thread the needle or anything like that, the right leg will be coming up into that figure 4 shape first. The right toes, no matter where your leg is, will flex towards the right knee to open up the hamstrings and protect the kneecap. Now, if you've recently had any hip surgery or a hip issue of any kind, or your leg comes up in a diagonal position like this, please don't force anything. Come and take the modified variation of the leg pattern, which if you extend the legs out, the right leg will come out to straight and you'll still flex the toes towards the knee. Okay? And then from here, regardless of where you're at, on an inhale, lift the arms up and overhead. Exhale, lengthen out and fold forward. And one hip may be more tighter than the other. It's completely fine. Again, about 90% of the human population has one hip that's more open than the other. So unless you're a Cirque du Soleil performer or have amazing genetics, you may be more open on one side. Again, don't force anything. When it comes to yoga, you want to feel a sense of being open, but never any pain. So if you feel pain, please back off a little bit, or entirely if you need to. Again, breathe. Send your breath toward, especially since we're holding a hip opener. Really, is on that using that ujjayi breath. Really send the breath down toward that pelvis, which is in that hip region, to really make things a little bit lighter. And then from here, you're going to reach the arms forward and up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. And then from those of you who are on your mats, if you need to take another down dog and then switch sides, you can, or you can just switch sides from here, especially if you're taking thread the needle, that's fine. Okay, so left side, if you are sitting, again, if you're a step or two behind me, no sweat. So the left side we'll be working on next. So left foot, again, ideally is up here, but again, if you have a bad hip issue or surgery recently where your leg's at a diagonal, please extend out this way. Okay, so again, make sure if you are taking this pattern, right knee over right ankle, sit up nice and tall, and then inhale, lengthen up, exhale, reach out and fold forward. Good. In front of your next inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Exhale, hands to heart. For those of you who did take thread the needle or double pigeon, if you just want to join us seated, you can. But if you really want to take one more downward facing dog for the day, or if you were in single pigeon, half pigeon, or whatever, that's fine. You'll eventually make your way onto your backs on your mats. For those of you who are seated here, we're going to take a nice forward fold here before we move into our final twist. We're going to take a little bit of a twist and then move into Shavasana. So inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. And begin to walk the hands all the way up nice and smooth.
And for those of you who are on your mats, on your backs, you're going to take a little bit of a supine twist here. So you're going to hug your knees into chest, allow the knees to fall all the way down over to the right-hand side. Your arms will come to a T shape. Maybe look over the left shoulder if you have, unless you have a neck issue, look up to the ceiling. For those of you who are seated like I am, you're going to just come comfortably close to the end of your chair. The right hand is going to come to the back part of your chair, so you're going to press down away in the back part of your seat. The left hand will come to the outer edge of the right leg, and as you press up, you're lengthening up through the crown of the head. And on every inhale, you press up, and on every exhale, gently twist by using your core and also pressing into the right side of the leg with the left hand, and again, gently twisting, looking over that right shoulder if possible. Good. Regardless if you did the supine twist on your mat or the seated chair variation, inhale, bring the body to neutral, and we're going to do the same thing, switching sides. So switch the legs, switch the head gaze if you did to look over the opposite shoulder. And then if you're seated on the chair like I am, the right hand will come to the outer edge of the left leg, pressing down and away into the back part of your chair. Press up nice and tall. Pressing gently into the left leg with the right hand, and looking over that left shoulder and twist with that cord, not the shoulders. Good. Regardless of what position you did take, we'll bring the body to neutral. And for those of you who are on your mats, if you do want to take a happy baby pose before you move into your final rest, that's fine. For those of you who are seated in the chair, options. Option one is to sit comfortably in your seat like I am, or if you do have an extra chair handy for your final rest, please bring in that extra chair and you can prop it up underneath your feet for an extra little bit of a reclined feel. For those of you who are on your mats when ready, you can either A, sit up nice and tall in a meditative state. You can take Vipariti Karani, which is legs up the wall, so you'll come to the floor, you'll make your way onto the floor and by a wall. Take one of your outer hips to the wall and take the legs up, allowing the blood to drain from your feet down towards your knees. Or you can take traditional Shavasana corpse pose, and you can lie on your backs comfortably. So I'll give you a few moments just to kind of settle in, check in with whatever you're doing. And then from here, just sigh the breath out, H-ah sound, let it all go. Deep breath, inhale. Exhale, let it out. And relax your face, jaw, shoulders, fingers, toes, and move into your Shavasana. to increase your breath. And for those of you who would like to remain in your restful state, feel free to do so. But for those of you who are ready to slowly come out, you'll maybe bring a little bit of awareness to your body, maybe take your thumb across fingertips, whittle your toes. And if you're on your mats, you'll take your arms up and overhead, hug your knees to chest, and eventually make your way up into Sukhasana, easy seated position. Again, try to keep your eyes closed regardless of if you're in the chair or not. For those of you who are seated in the chair with me, kind of give your shoulders a nice little shrug. And then everybody on your inhale, the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart. Bow your chin down for gratitude. Thank you all very much for letting me facilitate your practice today. And again, yoga is just about, it means union, it means coming together. So again, yoga, we build our practice like building blocks, bring things together, and hopefully become more open, not necessarily just with our body, but our minds and spirits as well. And again, we're spiritual warriors. Just do your best, do the right thing, be helpful when you can, when you need to be, or when you're able to be. Just be an all-around good person, which will make our world a much better place to live in. May all beings everywhere know love and peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste.